Roland Mumford with Mumford.law. Imagine you're in a room at a police department and a police chief is having a meeting with a police officer over the following issue. I would love to be a fly on the wall to listen to the meeting between the police chief and a police officer involving the police officer shooting up a vehicle that has a person in it handcuffed and the seatbelt strap is over him and the door is closed. And he shot up the vehicle thinking that the suspect or the person in the vehicle had somehow gotten a weapon and shot at him. But it turned out to be that the shot that this police officer thought he heard was an acorn that had fallen from a tree and hit the top of the police vehicle, which was an SUV. I am not making this up. A police officer shot up a vehicle, and then another police officer, not understanding what was going on, but thinking that the officer had been shot, starts shooting the vehicle as well. Now, she didn't understand, obviously, that an acorn had fallen. She was thinking that this other officer who had said that he had been shot in the leg, when it turns out he wasn't. He says in the videos, you can see, my leg is numb, I've been hit. And the man was never hit. This officer clearly has some mental health questions or challenges or delusions to think that he had been shot at because an acorn had fallen from a tree and hit the top of the SUV. Now, you would have thought maybe he would have just turned around and quickly shot at the vehicle and then once, maybe twice, and stopped. But this man almost unloaded a magazine, and he may in fact have unloaded the magazine because you can't even count the number of shots. And when you listen to the video, it sounds like he shot up that vehicle more than 10 times. He literally was shooting that handgun as if it was an automatic gun. And what's even more unfortunate is that the police chief apologized to the person that was in the vehicle, who fortunately was not hit by a bullet, which is a miracle in and of itself, because the news reports are saying that between 50 to 20 bullets hit the vehicle from the two different guns from the officers. But this police chief says, well, we apologize, but if he does file a lawsuit, we, in essence, will defend it. Well, he wasn't kidding. A lawsuit was filed, and you think they would have just written this man a check, given such negligence and such civil rights violations. But I went into the filing system on PACER for the Northern District of Florida, and they have filed motions to dismiss, and they have filed another dispositive motions for summary judgment. And from what I can see, this case has not been settled. This happened over a year ago. It is absolutely astonishing to me that this police department is actually fighting this case. Now, I'm going to play the first video, and that's going to kind of show what happened, and that a lot of the body camera video is there. And then the video will be the interview of the gentleman who was in the vehicle, shot up, and listen to his perspective and how this has traumatized him emotionally, the emotional distress arising out of this. And hear his attorney speak in the interview as well. Then after that, I will do a presentation and we'll go through the lawsuit for a few minutes and show you the claims that were filed. Take a look at this video. We'll see you on the other side.
Come down, make sure you don't have any weapons on them.
I didn't do nothing, I swear to God.
Well, new tonight, brand new camera video showing the moments an already patted down and handcuffed man was pulled out of a bullet-riddled patrol car. All of this in Okaloosa County.
Yeah, but he was in that patrol car when a deputy mistook a falling acorn for a gunshot. That's when he and another deputy blistered the back of that vehicle with gunfire. And a handcuffed Marquise Jackson still in the back seat. It's a miracle he wasn't hit. Our Lacey Beasley showed us that video of what happened last week. She's here in studio now with the rest of this crazy story. Lacey?
Yeah, Lenise and Byron, the deputy who started shooting first actually thought he had been shot, but he wasn't. That deputy, Jesse Hernandez, has since resigned. Body cam footage shows Jackson complying with deputies after his girlfriend reported him for allegedly stealing her car. Video shows Okaloosa County deputies patting him down, and he's handcuffed behind his back, then put in the backseat of Hernandez's patrol vehicle. Moments later, deputies started shooting at him.
In the backseat of that cruiser sits Marquise Jackson.
handcuffed and buckled in. This chaotic scene shows former Deputy Jesse Hernandez shooting into his patrol vehicle, thinking Jackson had somehow shot him in the legs. But according to a 44-page final report from the Okaloosa County Sheriffs, that sound that triggered the gunfire was actually a falling acorn hitting the top of his cruiser, not a gunshot.
My legs went numb when it hit me. All right. I don't know. My legs went numb for a second. I heard a pop come from. Go this way. You move? Yeah.
Here's the brand new video Fox 10 News obtained.
Sparky, you're doing a great job. You hear me?
Showing the moment deputies got Jackson out of the vehicle.
Stay there. Don't move. Don't move. Get down. Face down. On the ground. Face down. Turn around. Pat him down. Make sure you don't have any weapons on him. I didn't do nothing. I swear to God. Where are you injured, bud? Oh, I saw that hurt. I don't know what it is.
Jackson says his shoulder hurts, though in an unbelievable outcome, he was not shot. Here's another angle.
He's down. On the ground.
Our internal investigation was nearly 2 months. It was 8 weeks for us to be able to complete all of those steps. It's not normally that long, but this was a very unique situation. We hope a situation we'll never find ourselves in again. To that end, I can only apologize to Mr. Jackson and his family.
Now, there was also an Okaloosa County sergeant who fired shots after Hernandez yelled out. She was cleared. Now, I talked to Marquise Jackson, and he tells me he's taking legal action. Reporting live in studio, Lacey Beasley, Fox 10 News.
We've got an exclusive interview with a Florida man who was shot at nearly 24 times by law enforcement, not because he was firing at them or running from them, but in fact, while he was detained in the back of a patrol car. A lot of drama there for what a sheriff's deputy says may have been an acorn hitting a car and was mistaken as gunfire. Marquis Jackson and his attorney spoke with Jamie Yukas about their lawsuit against the sheriff's office and the changes they're looking for.
This is the moment Okaloosa County Sheriff's Deputy Jesse Hernandez opened fire on his own patrol vehicle, believing he hadn't just been shot at, but hit. Say Hernandez and his partner fired at least 22 rounds at the car.
Shots fired, I got a deputy down.
24-year-old Marquis Jackson was handcuffed and sitting in the back.
Do you hear the acorn hit the roof?
Don't hit no acorn at all.
Did you hear Officer Hernandez shout, "I've been hit"?
They ain't none of that.
So you didn't know anything that was going on outside?
I ain't do nothing at all, so I'm like, why am I even here right now? So the next thing you know, all I hear is the gunshots. The first one, hear it come through the glass. The second one was crossing my face. I could feel the wind, so that's when I ducked.
What did you think was happening?
Trying to kill me. When somebody's shooting at you, that's all they could be trying to do is kill you.
The incident played out as Deputy Jesse Hernandez and Sergeant Beth Roberts responded to a domestic dispute involving Jackson's girlfriend last November. Police said she claimed he stole her car, threatened her, and had a gun silencer. When Jackson arrived, he says he cooperated with officers.
And I tell him, I don't got no side. Whatever she wants to do, let's do it. Because basically I knew, I didn't steal her car. I didn't do nothing wrong. They searched me a couple times, then took me to the car. And right before they put me in the car, they searched me again.
Do you have any weapons on you? Okay.
I'm getting patted down for it.
Because you're getting patted down.
In a statement, the sheriff says Jackson was only patted down once. Jackson claims it was at least twice. He wasn't hurt and was never charged with a crime. An internal investigation found Hernandez's actions violated policy. He resigned, but Roberts was cleared. Neither faced criminal action.
What are the images you see that you can't get out of your head?
There's a whole lot of guns and glass falling, basically cop cars and sirens. I'm hearing noises all the time, stuff like that.
Do you think you have PTSD?
Most definitely.
As an advocate, we want to make sure that we get him the best help that he can. As a black man, I'm enraged.
DeWitt Lacey represents Jackson and filed a lawsuit against the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office.
Why are you enraged?
The fear of this violent or angry black man being loose is what's been used to justify and rationalize the fear. And that is upsetting. That is angering.
What do you hope the outcome is to all of this?
Accountability. We want them, and that is the law enforcement community, the sheriff's department, the county, to take this a little more seriously, to not pass this off as something that can be swept under the rug.
This could have gone very differently.
He could be dead, right? That is a likely outcome when you shoot that many bullets into a patrol vehicle and somebody's in there.
For CBS Mornings, Jamie Yukas in Los Angeles.
Well, he is right. It could be very different. In a statement to CBS News, the Okaloosa County sheriffs say deputies do not engage in the practice of bias-based profiling and are confident race was not a factor in this incident. The sheriff also said Lacey's claims about being swept under the rug are absurd. Deputy Hernandez, the officer who fired the initial shots and rolled around there, said he was hit, declined to comment for this story. Again, he's resigned.
It's a good call.
I don't think any cops watching this think that guy was mentally fit on that particular day in that moment to be an officer.
And it's hard to know, too, without knowing a little bit more about that officer in terms of his background. But I can only imagine what you must be thinking when you're in a car.
And you're handcuffed.
And you hear gunshots.
Bringing on. He said it whizzed by him. He could feel it.
Yeah.
He's very lucky to be alive.
All right, let's take a look at this lawsuit that was filed. The gentleman's name is Marquise Jackson. He filed this with the Northern District Federal Court in Florida. And you can see he's suing quite a few number of officers. I'm actually kind of surprised he's suing this many people instead of just the one officer or maybe the female. And you can see the claims that they are alleging. One is a Fourth Amendment claim, a failure to intervene claim, conspiracy to violate civil rights, a municipal liability claim, practices of failure to train, which is a Monell claim, and the supervisory liability. And then they have some state tort claims. Now, let's talk about, they have the factual allegations here. It's pretty in detail. We're not going to be able to go through them. Obviously, we understand that an acorn fell on top of a police car and an officer shot up the car. I think that some of these claims will survive. I think some may not survive. The conspiracy claim and the Monell claim, which is against the city / police department. I don't know how you're going to establish that you expect a police department to have some kind of policy or practice and custom that, that they're allowing officers to shoot up police cars because an acorn hit. It literally would almost have to be that specific. I just don't think that claim is going to go very far. Anyways, let's hear the claims, but let's talk about this. We'll make that bigger on the screen. So the first claim is the violation of the Fourth Amendment to force. Hands down, slam dunk. You shoot up a vehicle with a person who's in it handcuffed, seatbelted, locked in, 20 shots into the car or more. That's definitely excessive force. There's no way they're going to be able to justify that under the Graham factors. We go now to the second cause of action, which is failure to intervene. I don't know how far the failure to intervene claim is going to be. I filed this in a number of lawsuits. In essence, what you're saying is that a supervisor or somebody a little bit higher level of authority, or really maybe even another officer, failed to intervene. They were watching a constitutional violation occurring, and that they failed to intervene and stop it. I don't know how you're going to establish that, but maybe this attorney can. I mean, you have an officer who hears something he thinks is a gunshot, which turns out to be an acorn hitting the top of a vehicle. But in his mind, he thinks he's been shot at. And then he starts shooting up a vehicle. Well, then let's say you have another police officer on scene, whether a supervisor or such other, and that person hears, I guess maybe the female or another officer, they hear an officer say, "I've been shot." And in a fraction of a moment, they're immediately probably going to start shooting at a vehicle too, because they think that gunshots are coming out of it towards the officer. I hate to say this, but there's some reasonableness there. I don't know how they're going to blame this other female officer or any other officers for failing to intervene in the moment where you hear an officer shooting at a vehicle and he's saying that he's been hit. You're immediately going to kick in the mode where you're going to shoot towards the direction of where this officer's saying that he's been shot at from. So I don't know where that's going to go. Then the conspiracy to violate civil rights. I don't know how they're going to establish that officers conspired to shoot up a vehicle willfully. Now, the municipal liability claim, this is the fourth claim. Municipal liability for unconstitutional custom, policy, or failure to train. This may go somewhere possibly, but the problem is, though, they're going to have to show some level of deliberate indifference on part of the higher level officers or the chief or such other at the police department, that they knew that similar actions like this were going on and failed to train. Now, obviously, you cannot foresee that an officer is going to shoot up a police car because an acorn hit it, and they thought that it was a gunshot. So the only thing I can think of, and again, this is a 34-page lawsuit, so I just obviously have not had time to read it, but the only thing I can think of is that they may be making the argument that the officer Let's say he heard a gunshot. He turns around. Maybe he fires once, but there's no other gunshots coming at him. And then the other argument maybe was, why are you shooting at this vehicle 10 to 20, excuse me, I apologize, 10 to 20 times, and you don't see shots coming at you? The threat is not, the threat you perceive after a second, it does not exist. So there may be an argument there. But again, I need to read the lawsuit, and maybe they've got some other arguments they're making. Supervisory liability is the fifth cause of action. I don't know how they're going to establish that they condone that an officer shot up a vehicle because of a fallen acorn. And then sixth cause of action, negligence, absolutely slam dunk. The officer shooting up a vehicle when he wasn't in fact shot at, they're going to succeed on that claim. Assault and battery, shooting up the vehicle, yep. Causing a fear and immediate apprehension of fear in another person, absolutely. And state cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. I think they're going to be able to succeed on that claim as well. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. We appreciate your time. Please click like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.